heartfelt story of a parent-child relationship. I am The Wiz. Alright everybody, welcome back. Thank you for tuning in. If you like this review, please leave a like at the end of this video, and if you want to watch more, please subscribe. I do 3 reviews a week on this channel. Alright everybody, I'm here to review the 1949 Japanese drama Late Spring, directed by Yasujiro Ozu. I reviewed what is considered Ozu's best film last year, which was Tokyo Story, the third and final film of the Noriko trilogy. Tokyo Story has gone on to be on numerous lists in either the best in world cinema, the best Japanese movies, and the best films of all time. It's currently number 4 on the BFI Sight and Sound top 250 films of all time. But the other films in Ozu's Noriko trilogy are also loved films. The first one is Late Spring, a film about Noriko, played by Setsuko Hara, who loves living with her father, played by Chushu Ryu, so much that she refuses to marry. Ozu's style of direct simplicity is on display in a different way than it was in Tokyo Story. Spring uses his direct approach to show a life that is comforting and sweet. It shows the life that Noriko loves so much and doesn't want to leave. It's actually incredibly effective in a number of ways. Not only in the way it shows the comfort that Noriko has, it also shows the simple life of doting over her father and having happy but uncomplicated relationships. But what I was surprised by with Spring is how easy it is to see why Noriko wouldn't want to leave her life with her father. As a bit of a background, I'm a middle-aged man who lives in the United States. In our society, most kids can't wait to leave their parents' home to have lives of their own. Around the time I grew up, the expectation was to go to college, live on your own, and have a life of your own. Those who lived like Noriko, nearing 30 and never leaving the house, was looked upon as someone who is either sad, a loser, or someone who had something serious happen to where they need to go back home to live with parents. Now, Spring is set in Japan, so there is a different culture to deal with. But even without that cultural context, the film does a great job with showing exactly why Noriko doesn't want to leave, and how it isn't a bad thing that she's attached to her life the way she is. Ozu's direction is also more subtle when it comes to drama of the film. As the film moves forward, characters grow concerned that Noriko doesn't want to marry. Her aunt and friends all start to question her as to why she won't marry and how she should start trying to date. But she persists. Ozu does a great job of showing this as a means of concern for her friends and family who are looking out for her best interests, not just to conform to the standards of society. Now, there is a bit of conforming to society in this film. I would say it is like half of that. But the way that Ozu portrays this in this film is more like, we don't want you to live a bad life. We don't want you to have problems later on down the road. Ozu portrays these characters as kind in their own way, even if they are becoming insistent and pushy when it comes to Noriko's decision not to marry. This really creates a neutral kind of feel to the film. It's not overly negative, but it's not overly positive. It maintains this line of mood that feels rather lifelike and authentic. It actually feels like a window into a life event that many would have in their own lives. Spring, for the most part, is a film about obligation and caring for a loved one. These types of stories tend to rely on the unwritten rules of society that most films tend to cling on to in order to move the story along. But what Spring does so well is acknowledge those obligations, the pressures they create, and how they affect good people while keeping the focus on the characters. Finally, performances from the 2 leads are great. Chushu Ryu is great as the father that Noriko loves so much. The character has to be able to warm up to the audience, which he does quite well. And even though he is somewhat stern with Noriko in a certain way, I think that's more cultural based. I don't think that really is the character. You can definitely see as to why Noriko loves being around her father so much. But the film is being carried by Setsuko Hara in this film, and she does an incredible job. She carries the emotional heft of this film so well. She manages to have this subtly beautiful performance that shows her character as the agreeable, loving daughter, while not relying on histrionics to show emotions too broadly. It's the subtlety of her body and her facial expressions that show her emotional devastation throughout the entire film. I really gotta say, Hara's performance is really good in this film. I come to the end of this review with a sort of conundrum. It's easy to see why Tokyo Story is such a beloved film for many. And if I'm honest, Tokyo Story is probably the better film in a lot of ways when it comes to the storytelling. But I adore and love Late Spring much more than I do Tokyo Story. It's a beautiful story about the love between a parent and a child. and the things that each has to do and sacrifice in order to make a better life for each other. It is a beautifully moving film in a very sweet way. Alright, so before I get into my rating, let's see what other people think about this film. Letterboxd Users has it at a 4.3 out of 5, and this is at number 110 in the top 250 films of all time on Letterboxd. Rotten Tomatoes has this at a 100% fresh, and this was not nominated for any Oscars at the time that this came out. I'm giving Late Spring 4.5 stars out of 5. I really like this movie. I think the emotional story between Noriko and her father is incredibly well done, and one of the things that they did really well is to be able to like both characters, and I really liked both the father and the daughter in this film, but Setsuko Hara does a really good job as Noriko in this film, and the way that she does the performance is mostly through her facial expression and the way that she emotes her body in this film. Noriko is a character that's very agreeable and wants to make people happy, and I think that's what got her into just wanting to live a life with her father, taking care of him after their mother died. And to see how Noriko is when she's with her father, and then as the pressure starts to build to find a husband, I think the way that she carries the performance is what makes this movie so good. So a lot of what makes this movie work is Setsuko Hara and her performance in this film. But other than that, I think this is a very sweet film. I think this is a very loving film. I think the pressure that everyone gives her is more of a concern and not of, you must do this. This is how life is in this way. There is a little bit of that, but I really enjoyed this film. And I thought this was a really good film by Ozu. Right now, it's my favorite Ozu film. Even though I think a lot of people think that Tokyo Story is the best film of his, and I understand why, I like Late Spring a little bit more. So, 4.5 stars out of 5 for me for Late Spring. It is on Max if you have not checked it out, and if you haven't, I think you should. It's a really good movie. Alright guys, thank you again for watching. See you guys next time. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, please like it. If you didn't, please subscribe. And if you have questions or comments, go ahead and leave a comment whether you liked it or not. It just helps, you know. If you want my written reviews, you can go onto my Letterboxd at IamThatWiz, or you can go to my website at IamTheWiz.com. Thank you very much again for watching. See you next time.